Let's look at how we can create some cams in Fusion 360. There are many different types of cams. Here we have an eccentric, and this is what it looks like in an animation. So we're going to try to create something like this. These are called webs, and they make the part stiffer and stronger using very little plastic. We're going to have a hole called a set screw hole, and that will allow a screw to tighten onto the shaft and keep everything in place. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start a sketch on our front origin plane. Let's make our main circle on the origin, and let's make it 80 millimeters in diameter. Let's make our second circle, C for circle. We'll put it down here below the origin, and this one should be 5.3 millimeters. 5.3 is going to be, this is going to be the hole that fits over the drive shaft. If the drive shaft is 5 millimeters, so this will fit nicely onto that, and it will allow a little bit of movement, sliding left and right or whatever direction you want to move it. If you make it 5, it'll be too tight. If you make it 5.1, it'll be snug, but it won't move so easily. And 5.3 allows it to be adjusted along the shaft. All right, last thing I want to do is put a dimension on this so that we have some distance that we can adjust later if we need to. So 18 is fine. Finish sketch, we're done sketching. And now we're going to extrude this profile. I'm going to extrude it about 12. So let's go -12. And new body, click OK. Now we're going to do a shell operation. Select that face. We want to shell about 1.2 millimeters. That should work pretty well. Anywhere between 1 and 1.2 is fine. Now we want to bring this face up a little bit so that it's above this face. All right, so let's go to our extrude tool. I want to select that face. Let's bring it up 8 millimeters. And we're joining that with the material that's already there. So this is what it looks like here. Next thing we want to do is we want to make this boss, this cylinder, wider so that it gives more material for the set screw to go into, and it'll make this part stronger so it doesn't break off here. So we can do that with the press pull tool. Let's select that face and then pull out. So let's go, in this case, let's go 6 and click OK. Now if we click on that circle there, we can see it has a diameter of 19. We want to be about 15 to 20. That should work pretty well. All right, so the next thing I want to do here is create the webs. So the webs are these parts here. That'll make it stiffer, and they'll make this part much stronger so it doesn't break off of that part. All right, so all we have to do here is start a sketch. Let's start on this lower face here. And I'm going to make a line that starts on my origin and it comes over into this piece. And I will make a pattern here, circular, select, and my center point. It's going to be, it's not going to let me do it until I project. So let me cancel that out. P for project, I forgot that step. Now we brought that into our current sketch. You can see it right there. Click OK. Let's try that again. Go back to create circular pattern, select the object, and now we have a circle. Okay. So now I'm going to make this 5. I think that'll work well. Click OK. So all we've made is kind of a star shape. You can see it right there. And now we can finish our sketch. All right, the last thing we're going to do here for that web is go to our web tool, and we're going to select the items that are going to become a web. Actually, for whatever reason, this tool, it makes more sense to pre-select these. I'm not sure why it does that, but it doesn't let you select them on the fly. And you have to hold Shift down. So sometimes in this program you hold Shift, sometimes you don't. Hold Shift, you'll see them all selected. Go back to your web, and now you'll see that it makes the web there for you. Now, the thickness of the web is 0.8, because I had used that number before, but anywhere between 0.8 and 1 should work pretty well. Doesn't have to be very thick to be strong. There we go. All right, so there we have our web, our webs. And the last thing I want to do is I want to put a hole so I can get a screw into this and tighten it down. So let's go to our hole tool, and let's look at it from the bottom. And I'm going to select that face right there. And with the hole tool, it's very nice because it only allows you to move it vertically, which is so you don't get off center, which is nice. Okay, I'm going to put it just a little further from the center because we want the screw head to be able to clear this area, which should be okay as long as it's a little bit above or beyond the center, away from the object here. And we want the diameter of the hole to be 2.9. That will allow our 3mm M3 screws to go in nicely. And you can adjust the depth of it. We just want to make sure we go through one side completely. Click OK. And there we have it. Now the last thing you could do, this is a little bit of eye candy. Let's turn off these sketches. Is if you want, you can put some fillets on some of these items here. I'll just do a couple here. And I'll just do those for now. You can do them all at once and bring that up. This will make this part a little bit stronger. Looks good. And now we are done with this eccentric. Now, because we're using parametric software, it's really easy to make changes. Let's say we decide we want to change the location of the offset or the diameter, for example. We can go into our sketch. So let's edit that and double click. Let's say we want to change the location. I'm going to make it 15 instead. Click Finish Sketch. Notice how everything updates. No extra work required. Let's try changing the diameter. Let's say we want to go with 68. Finish Sketch. Everything updates perfectly. So that's the power of parametric modeling using a program like Fusion.